Hi everyone, Lady Steam here. In this video we're going to talk about how to make the Secret Labyrinth marble maze that we've included in the July 2018 box of making. You'll notice that we've got a lid on this box, and then when we open it you've got a set of walls in it that you'll actually be able to reconfigure to make this maze as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. So once we're ready, we'll be able to talk about what you need to decorate to put it together, and then I'm going to show you how to assemble it. For this project, you're going to need 2 packages out of your 2018 box. You're going to need, July box, you're going to need this Secret Labyrinth pack that has the wood in it, and you'll need a separate bag that has the smaller parts in it. So go find those parts if you haven't already in your box, and we'll get started. So now let's take a quick look at what the pieces and parts of your Secret Labyrinth are. Hopefully you've gone into your box already and pulled out the top, which is a set of pieces of wood, and the bag that says Secret Labyrinth. I'm going to put this over on the side for a minute and we'll get started. So first I'm going to open this little bag. And we'll take a look at what's in it. It has 4 wood sides. It has a set of screws to put on the side, and then it has your inner walls. Now with your inner walls, if you want to decorate them, you want to sand them and then make them black or gray or something else, you certainly can. It's completely up to you. I'm going to put them aside right now for me. And then let's see what's in this big bag. It's actually a stack of 5 pieces of wood that we'll be using to build this project. This is the lid. We can put it aside for now. When you decorate it, this is the part that's going to be shown. You've got all kinds of choices, even using our fine line pins to build this Celtic knot and decorate the colors in your Celtic knot. Okay. Then what you'll see is a bottom. Here's the bottom. The steamy tech goes on the bottom side, and you'll notice that the way these go together, there are little jut outs, 2 different directions. These pieces will be framing pieces. You don't need to do any decorating on them if you don't want to. Again, completely up to you how much of those pieces you decorate. And then this piece is the piece that's going to go on top to be the actual base of your maze. So you may want to do a lot of decorating with it. You may not want to do very much at all. Completely up to you. And then you'll find 4 walls. As with all laser cut items, one side looks prettier than the other. The sides with the holes are where the marble is going to come in and out. The other sides will be the opposite sides. You will see the insides of these pieces, though, when you put it together and you're working on your maze. So you probably want to clean stuff up and make it as pretty as you can, both on the inside and on the outside. So go away and do that, and when we come back, we'll start to look at the hardware pieces and how to actually put this maze together. It's one of those things you're going to find out that it's very easy to build, but I think it's going to be infinitely replayable and a lot of fun. I will talk to you all in a minute. Now that all your pieces are decorated, let's look at how simply this thing goes together. You're going to really enjoy putting this together. So I'm going to open up my hardware bag here, and we'll start with looking at the pieces of hardware in your bag. And what you're going to see are 4 long screws. These are the ones that we'll use to put up or down through the middle here. 4 nuts to go with those, plus 8 3/8" screws that we're going to use to put these sides together. So you should have 12 nuts, 8 3/8" screws, and 4 5/8" screws. Now how you do this assembly is kind of up to you, but I'm going to show you one method that I think is going to work fine and make life as easy as possible to put the walls on. So what you'll notice when you look at them is that the sides with the holes want to go on the sides of the box that have the jut outs here. And if I were to put one of these on, it would match perfectly, and then I could take a side that didn't have a hole and it would match to this other side. So I'm going to start with one of these sides with holes in it. And I'm going to slide with on the base with the side with the little jut outs. And I'm going to take one of my nuts and we'll slip that nut into the hole, and I'm going to hold it with my fingers. Put the side on. I'm going to put a drop of super glue on one of my screws here. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to slide it through the hole. And then I will use my screwdriver to tighten that into the threads. That's the best way to get glue into your threads. Now, as I'm sure I've mentioned in other videos, you have several other choices. You can use a product called Loctite or a thread locker product to do this. That makes them easier to take out if you ever need to. Many options for how you attach your screws. You can wait if it's really hard or you have really small hands. You can wait and screw in these 8 screws and then put glue just all around the nut and the screw to be able to get it to lock into place as well as another option. I also haven't put any glue on the side to glue the slide to the screw. Or to the base. That's another option, another way you could approach doing this. I think you've got enough strength with just the screws holding it in. It gives you a little bit more flexibility if you decided you wanted to do something different with it after you put it together. And it's possible that the first time you put it together, you won't want to use any glue on the screws or nuts at all. Just because then you can take it apart and see what other options you have. And if you are uncoordinated like me, it might take a try or two to not lose the nut when you're holding this whole thing together. So I'm just going to keep going all the way around this piece, put these 8 screws and nuts together. So I've got the side and my base attached. And honestly, one choice you have would be to not do the bottom at all or not close it up, and you could actually see what was going on inside if you really wanted to. I think it's going to be a little prettier this way, but that's certainly another option you can use. When you're putting those together. Another way that might work well for you to put these nuts in is to set this sideways and to slide the nut in sideways so that gravity helps you hold it where you want it to be rather than having to do that completely with your fingers. It's really going to be a question of you figuring out what works best for you as we put these together. And I'm oh so very right-handed. If I were left-handed, this would be easier to be able to do these second ones the other way. Let's try this way. There you go. It'll go in better that way. And as with all things, practice makes perfect. There's my 6th screw going in. And tightening it down with my screwdriver. Go ahead and put that nut in first to make it a little easier. Put this end on. Get the other side popped this time to get this all lined up. Nope. Sometimes it just takes 2 hands. There we go. There's my nut. More glue on my screw. this screw in. And one last nut here on the base to get this side to go in properly. There we go. And my last screw. Now that we've done that, we've got our box formed together and we can start to add our additional layers. I'm going to flip it over on its back, and you do want to be a little careful while you put these two layers in because they are a little brittle. If you were to break one, you could probably get it to glue back together and fit in fine. But these are going to give us our corner supports. And then I'm going to put my bottom on. And now you have another choice in what you do next. What I did was I actually ran the screws up from the bottom just to make my bottom a little smoother. So I'm going to run my screw up. Once I get that nut started, I can just use my screwdriver to go tighten it all together. So we'll slide this up through it. I'll put a drop of glue on the top. And let it come back down in a little bit. Slide my nut on top of it. Make it fit together. And screw it in nicely. So we're just building a nice flat bottom for this. There's the third one. You've already got them all lined up, so it's really easy to put these half-inch screws in, but they're absolutely important to keeping your base together. And last but not least, we will put the final screw in. So a much simpler project than some other ones we've done in the box, but the end result is so much fun. You don't need to spend all of that time assembling it. And now we're ready to actually open our box of pieces. And let me tell you a little bit about what I've learned on mazes, so you get a sense about the best and easiest way to build them. In your bag, you should have 50 maze walls. That's quite a few. You can do an awful lot with 50 maze walls. And we're going to start here. And what you've got are these little pieces that have a little corner on them, all set to be able to go and latch into the box. You're going to set them in at an angle and click them in, and they'll go click, and you can slide them over so they can fit into your box properly. To get the ones in on the far side, it may be easier to put the piece in away from the wall instead of facing towards the wall. And once you've done that, you've got a good path and you can keep going. Now, when you're building your maze, what you want to do is design the path you want the marble to go through first. So you can slowly add these wall pieces to design the path you want the marble to take in a perfect world. So I'm going to keep going here and adding pieces. You can make that path as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. You can make it really hard for somebody to do it and make all kinds of twists and turns back and forth. You could make it really simple. And we're simply building a path at this point. And notice as I slide pieces in, I could even do something like, say, I want it to go this way, and then I want it to go this way, and down and around. So I'm just going to build my path. And since I want this to go out a little farther, I'm going to extend these, put a couple more on this end. Maybe we'll stop there. And it's really convenient when you can use the same wall to be a wall on both sides. Now I notice they're a little floppy. That's okay. You're going to put a piece on top, and if you were to take one of your marbles out, you would see you've got plenty of width for this to run through the pieces. And once we put the top on, it's going to mean that nothing can shift around on you. And then I'm going to go down and move this back towards the end. And we'll get it exactly where we want it to go. And again, I'm going to do this by going out first to make it easier to put the piece in that's right next to my wall. Maybe I'll even do this. If you think a little bit about the order you put them in, and it will make your life a little bit easier as you do this. And if you have smaller hands, it will be easier too. And I think I'm going to leave this big spot in the middle. So now, what can I do to make this harder is the question. Well, one thing I can do is I can do something like take this piece out, and I can build a walled off area over here completely the wrong direction from where somebody might want to go. And I can even do things like do those and add this one and get this person that comes over here. If they go through this hole, they're going to end out in this big open area and they're going to be completely stuck and they're going to have a hard time getting back. And maybe we'll do something similar on this edge. So let me pull a couple different pieces out to get to the one I want. I want to take this one out of the middle. And this one we're just going to make a fairly small little stop here. Put 3 or 4 of the pieces that are left in this one. Let's wait and do this way against the wall. And we'll make this guy go right against the wall. And again, this is something you're going to design over and over and over again. Test your family and friends. See who is truly skilled enough to solve your secret labyrinth. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun for the whole family. Let's see, I've got 3 left. Do I want to add one more little tricky spot just to make it hard for somebody? Nah, I think I'm happy with that. Once you've done that, you'll notice if you want to do it the easy way, you can just drop your marble in the top. Slide it around. Make sure it's going through all the pieces okay, and come out the hole without a problem. That's the easy way through. The hard way through is to put the lid on and then figure out how to do it with the top closed. So I'm going to put the top on this. And you do that by just tucking in these 4 corners. I've made holes in the corners so you can easily pull out the top to extend it if you need to. I thought I would make it simple rather than trying to build a complicated latching mechanism on this top piece for you. There you go. My lid is on, and at this point, it will be difficult even for me to be able to get through the maze. Although I cheated because I know where the holes are. So that's what you're going to be doing. And now I'm lost in space. And I'm never going to see it again until I take the lid off. Have fun, everybody. Enjoy your Secret Labyrinth. And we'll talk to you again soon.